Thank you, Gopal Bhatta Prabhu. Dear devotees, I want to share something with you very dear to me today, but I feel like I don't know you. I'd like to get your help with devotees calling out what countries of the world they're from, just so that I get an idea of where you're coming from and how my talk to you today here may benefit you. I realize that there are devotees from India here, so at least I understand that much. And I know my temple president, Mother Mukhya from Alachua, Florida, is here, so that's India and the United States. But what other countries are represented here today? Canada, Brazil, Botswana, Bangladesh, Nigeria, Germany, France, China, Mexico, Spain, Russia. Any ones we haven't heard? Chile, Nepal, Thailand, England, Malaysia, Italy, what? Paraguay, Australia, wow, this is great. Mauritius, Serbia, okay. Kenya, wow. Portugal, back there. Singapore, Bolivia, wow, okay, yes. Slovenia, Ghana. Wow, we're really an international organization, yes. Ukraine, right, some of the nicest people in the world in Ukraine. They're really special people. I don't want to forget them. Kazakhstan, thank you. We're really, one more. Ecuador, okay, thank you. We're really a world-class organization. And I did that little exercise just to help me, because our motto that's been given to us by our presenters here is more devotees and happier devotees. But I'm not one of those happy devotees, and I want to share the reasons for that with you here today. A few hundred yards in this direction, there is a huge building being constructed. Have you all seen that building out there? You missed it. You really can't miss it. But are we missing it? That's the point. That is a world-class building. Ambarish Prabhu and his team have conceptualized that from the very beginning, that they wanted to build a world-class temple in fulfillment of the previous Acharya's desires for a wonderful Buddha Mandir to develop here in Sri Mayapur Dham. But that temple is the cause of my distress. It's the cause of my distress because if it's a world-class building, then where are the world-class people that are going to make that building work? Where are the world-class people? Have we, as a united international society, you saw how many countries are here, have we actually developed to the point where we can say that we're world-class and we have a world-class temple in Sridhama Mayapur? I think we need to reflect on that question a bit and how we can answer it. Because if we don't, it's like having a superconductor with software for kids' games. So the people have to match the structure, then we'll be successful. It's kind of like, I know you can't see this image up here, but maybe I can explain it to you. There's a little guy down here, and this is a huge boulder. It goes around like this. Huge boulder. And he's trying to move it with his shoulder. It's a huge task. How is it going to happen? That's the question that the ISKCON, Ministry of Education, and the GBC Education Standing Committee are trying to answer for all of you. How we can do this huge task of moving that boulder. Rosa, could you want to push that button for me? We need a world-class system, a world-class education system. The key words here are system. We need a group of activities, a group of schools, a group of training programs which mesh together very well to become a system. And in that way, we can approach this huge task of moving that boulder. Prabhupada tells us here, it's necessary for the leaders of the Krishna consciousness movement to start educational institutions in different parts of the world to train children starting at the age of 5 years. Thus, such children will not become hippies or spoiled children of society. Rather, they can all become devotees of the Lord. The face of the world will then change automatically. The face of the world will change automatically. I was talking with Padmanayana Prabhu. Is Padmanayana Prabhu here? There he is. He's running the Mayapur Institute, Padmanayana, and he was telling me the experience they had there. They get groups of students coming in here for studying Bhakti Shastri for several months at a time, and they notice that when they come in, they look one way, and when they go out, they physically change their appearance. And they're going to document this with photographs. Have you done it already? They're going to do that. They're going to document the change. The face of the world will change automatically. By education and Krishna consciousness, we can actually change the physical appearance of the devotees, and thus we can change the world. So how are we going to go about doing that? You really can't see this, but there are 3 C's to success in education development: creativity, collaboration, and collection. I'm going to give you some examples of creativity. The Bhaktivedanta College at Radhadesh is an example of a creative approach to education. They saw an opening. There were devotees who didn't want to send their children to an ordinary university and be subject to all kinds of influences that they might have there, yet they wanted a college education for their children. As a result of the creative minds led by Yadanandan Swami, Shonaka Rishi from the Oxford Center, they created Bhaktivedanta College, where our children can go study in a devotional atmosphere in a protected area in Radhadesh, Belgium, and get a college degree. That's an example of creativity. There's another example I want to bring to you, and that is of a devotee named Divyambar Dasi. She actually used to be the GBC secretary. She's now in New York. You all know the yoga craze that's going on all over the world now. She figured out that there's so many Sanskrit terms that these people into yoga encounter every day, but they don't know how to pronounce these words. So, being a teacher, she said, well, I'm going to start a course for teaching how to pronounce Sanskrit words for yoga students. An innovative approach, I think, that's very successful there in New York. So this is the type of creativity that we need to do to move that big boulder. Next, please. You can't see this either, but this is about the online Bhakti Shastri course that they started in Radhadesh. Now, that's only been going for maybe a few months, yet they have 62 countries represented in that online Bhakti Shastri course. 62 countries in a very short period of time. Very potent way, taking advantage of modern technology creatively to spread education. Next, please. The GBC also can be creative. back in 1990, they created the ISKCON Board of Examinations, which is an organization which administers the Bhakti Shastri and Bhakti Vaibhav degrees. How many degrees, Bhakti Shastri degrees, do you think have been awarded in ISKCON since 1990? Anybody take a guess? 1,000? 2,000? You're low. You're that's high. 10,000 is high. So we're over 4,000. Over 4,000 Bhakti Shastri degrees have been administered by this program, and by getting numbers, we get tools, we get information, we get data by which we can plan. Therefore, we know that over the last several years, maybe the last 3 or 4 years, those numbers have shot up dramatically. And so, education in ISKCON is not a dying field. It's someplace where you can invest, and there's a growth potential there for you and your temples. One other figure that we came up with in Prana Prabhu. Now, is Prana Prabhu here? Prana is from New Zealand. Excellent teacher. He runs the Hare Krishna school there. And he did a seminar yesterday. And we kind of went around the group that was there, maybe about 30 devotees. And we tried to figure out how many children there are in ISKCON worldwide. How many children are there? Because if we know the number of children, then we can creatively plan for their education. Any guess on how many children? And it was a very rough estimate, but I think that it tells us something. 2,000? 4,000? All right, that's a sannyasi speaking. 50,000 is also very low. 220,000 children worldwide. That includes a congregation. That includes a congregation. What are we going to do? We got to get our creative minds working to engage those 220,000 children, school-age children that are in our movement worldwide. So these are some things that statistics help us. Let's go to the next slide there. Okay, here's an example in Brazil. They started a school there, 55 students, and it's based on a creative approach to education. You can't see that, but it says based on projects and not subjects classes, on projects, engaging different types of intelligence. That's in Brazil. Next, please. Okay, here's the I Foundation in London. As many Indians as there are in the UK that are in a country where the government actually provides for religious schools, there's no Hindu organization before ISKCON that ever took advantage of that to start new schools. That's unbelievable given the history of the Indians in the UK. But it's to the credit of the I Foundation headed by Naveen Krishna and the Manor devotees, Shruti and Pran and others that helped in that endeavor to get these schools started. And they're springing up all over the UK, primary schools, secondary schools, because someone took initiative and used some creative talent. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, moving to the next C. There are 3 C's. Creativity, collaboration, and collection. Collaboration. There are many devotional resources that are available to you and your communities for developing different types of educational programs. Children's programs, the VTE training that includes subjects like book distribution, marriage, grihastha. Rasamangala is not here, but he worked with Anutama very closely for developing courses like the Guru training course and the recently piloted disciple training course. These assets are available to you, and we are endeavoring to create a database that makes these things easily accessible. Now, when Gauranga Prabhu was speaking a few days ago about the database that he was collecting, one of the devotees involved in education came up and said to me, well, you know, we really blew it organizationally here. He's already said something about a database, and now we're also asking for that, but we're like orphans. And we commiserated there for a minute, but then we tried to think about collaboration as a tool for success. And we came up with the idea that why try to repeat the wheel? If Gauranga Prabhu is already organizing a database, we'll join with him and just make a division of that for education. And that way, we take advantage of our numbers by collaboration rather than competing with each other. There's no need to reinvent the wheel here. There's so many resources on education on all levels, and we're endeavoring to gather those for you. Another resource are people. You really can't see this, but this is Rasamangala right here. I already mentioned some of the work he's done in developing courses, but there are others as well. There's Borijan, there is Lakshmimoni, who helped organize this, Mother Urmila, who is a very experienced educator. All these devotees are ready to help you in the endeavor to get education programs going. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so what can we do today? In your bag that you got when you first came, there was a little card like this. It's a bookmark. It has an address on the back, and it's asked you to, if you have any materials, contact us at this address so that we can work with you to get those things together to do our database. That's the third C, collection. With so many sannyasis, senior devotees travel to temples. Just take a few minutes during your visit to a temple. If there are regular education programs going on there, visit them, encourage the devotees, encourage them to correspond with us on the education committee so we can take advantage of the resources, knowledge, experience, and talent that's already there. We don't want to have to reinvent the wheel. Just takes a few minutes. We hope you'll help us in this way. And if you have any questions about this presentation or the 3 C's, creativity, collaboration, or collection of data, see myself or Yadanandan Swami, Prana, or other devotees can direct you to us so that we can help push education and get that big rock moving, equaling the size of the temple to our left. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.